guys, and welcome to the channel. This is the very first JLab product that I've managed to get my hands on, and before I get into the details about how these are built or sound, thank you to JLab for making this review possible and sending me a demo unit. All thoughts and opinions are my own. So let's jump into how these are built. The unboxing experience is simple with no drama, so you can get straight to your new earphones. You get the case with the earbuds seated in it, the literature and extra ear tips which are small and large with mediums already seated on the earphones. You don't get a charging cable because JLab has done something I've never seen before, which is a great way to make sure you never leave your charging cable at home. The underside of the case has an inbuilt USB-A cable which you can use to charge it with, and it's a dual-sided USB, so you don't have to worry about aligning it with a port. The case has a matte finish all around, so won't show scratches on it anytime soon. I'm glad they've chosen this finish instead of a glossy one for that same reason. This also happens to be quite a compact sized case, making it easy to carry in any bags or even pockets. The upper side of the lid has the JLab insignia which catches light when it bounces off at the right angle. The lid has a magnetic hold, so when you close it, it closes shut with a very prompt snap. Upon opening the lid, you're greeted with the JLab earphones which also have the JLab logo on them and have a matched matte finish to the case. These have lights on the outside of them to indicate when they are in discovery mode and when they are paired. Pairing them with your phone is a no-nonsense process. You take them out of the case so they switch on and go into discovery mode. Then just pair them from your phone's Bluetooth settings and you're good to go. The silicone ear tips are quite soft and comfortable in the ear and also provide a good amount of passive isolation once you figure out which ear tip fits you best. The overall build is good on the earphones and case. No wonder they're confident enough to provide a 2-year manufacturing warranty. These do come with an IPX4 rating, so should be fine for any gym or outdoor workout sessions. These come with Bluetooth version 5.1, have touch controls, but sadly don't get the JLab app support. This is partly because JLab has incorporated all the features in such a way where you can access all of them through the touch control, so you never really have to access your phone, which makes things a bit more convenient. The JLab logo on each earphone is a touch control area which lets you control a series of commands. A single tap on the left bud reduces the volume, while a single tap on the right increases it. A double tap on the left bud engages your native voice assistant, and the same on the right plays or pauses your music. A press and hold on the left bud goes to the previous track, and the same on the right bud skips to the next track. You can also control calls with taps. A single tap answers a call, a double tap hangs up, pressing and holding rejects incoming calls, and they have a triple tap which cycles between 3 equalizer presets they have inbuilt, which I'll speak about in the chapter about sound. These earphones do not come with active noise cancelling or environmental noise cancelling, but in case you're using these and you do need to take a phone call, they do come with one microphone per earbud. So in case you're on a run and you do need to take a call, you can always use these microphones for that. So if you were in a busy setting on a street and you wanted to take a phone call, how would you sound to your recipient? Honestly, there's only one way to find out. So I'm calling from the busy street that I normally do a lot of these call tests from, and today there is a good amount of activity with a lot of cars and motorbikes going along this road, and there is some construction work going on behind me. And I have been on the microphone to give you a sense of the amount of noise here. Now, as I did mention, these earphones only come with one microphone per earbud and they do not have environmental noise cancelling. But in case you plan on using these for any of your phone calls, I'll switch over to the microphones right about now. So this is the audio you can expect to carry on over to your recipient. Now, it may not be the best out there because it doesn't have ENC. It's just playing back whatever sounds that it does have. But in case of that emergency where you don't want to take a call, this is pretty much how it's going to sound. Now, I think that JLab has obviously focused more on the sound front of how these sound towards you when you're using them for your music or your media consumption, and not so much for calls. But I do hope that this demo has given you a better understanding of what these earphones are about, and I will see you back at the studio. These come with 6mm dynamic drivers and support the SBC codec. These also have a frequency response of 20 Hz and go all the way up to 20,000 Hz. On a volume front, don't think that 6mm driver is incapable of giving you good kick here. I've tested these earphones between 30 and 50%, and I think that's more than adequate. Now, you can go up to 60%, but it gets a little too loud for me, and I wouldn't recommend going beyond that in case you want to preserve your hearing. If you prefer to listen to your media at a lower volume, these tend to thin out a little bit. So I've listened to these at 30% and a little lower, and the bass seems to diminish over there. So thankfully, JLab has incorporated 3 presets into this. So when it's at a lower volume, I switch it onto the bass boost mode, because then it tends to bring in the bass that was losing, and it sounds just about fine. You can switch between the other 2 presets to find which one you like exactly, but I'll speak about the EQ modes in a moment. The soundstage exists within a bubble in your head, and it has good separation between left and right channels. To begin with, I did think that the phantom channel was a little off center, but I soon realized that I was using the incorrect ear tip. So once I figured out which ear tip fit me well and gave a proper seal and sat comfortably, then the phantom channel did sit dead center. Imaging is well defined, but don't expect this to give you audiophile levels of detail recovery. But having said that, these do provide good enough detail to enjoy various nuances in your audio. High frequencies have a slight elevation and a subtle delivery, so this range stays clear of hurting the ear over longer listening sessions. It is well defined and doesn't pierce the ear despite being boosted, and stays away from being sibilant with any vocals. It's able to give you everything from hard smashes of a cymbal to soft brushes on a snare with good detail. Listening to Dave Matthews Band's Crash Into Me, the beginning of this track has a lot of soft cymbal hits which are fed through with a softness and subtlety that I usually expect from slightly more higher end earphones. Cymbals or chimes in this song come through with a very natural tone rather than sounding metallic like some earphones can do. Mid frequencies have a slight recess, so vocals tend to sound a little more pullback than other frequencies. Despite this pullback, a lot of instruments tend to sit slightly ahead of the vocals and don't drown them. Female vocals tend to sound a little more forward than male vocals and remains rounded without getting thin in the lower registers. Listening to Adele's Easy On Me, her voice maintains its strength with these earphones. I was expecting her voice to sound thin, but it comes through with purpose and remains enjoyable. Low frequencies have a heft and a weight in this range, which is bound to put a smile on a bass enthusiast's face. The low and sub-low frequencies have an accentuation which pack quite a kick, especially if you're listening to EDM. It also works well with rock music in general and somehow doesn't interfere with the mid-range as much as it should. Listening to Lean On by Major Lazer, this extends to frequencies way down which are enough to almost feel the bass, and it seems to do this quite effortlessly. Most earphones tend to make the mids get drowned out when they have this much bass emphasis. JLab seems to have tuned these well. When it comes to the EQ modes, JLab has included 3 presets with these, and it's fairly easy to access despite not having an app. I've tested these on the setting that was straight out of the box, which was the JLab Signature, which is a very fun EQ to listen to. You can toggle between the EQs with a triple tap on either earbud, which will take you to the balanced EQ after the JLab Signature. It gets much flatter in response to the previous EQ, which would work well for podcasts or anything vocal related, or even if you're into acoustic or classical music. There is a significant dip in the bass here. Then you get a bass boost preset which does as it says and boosts the bass. And here is where the bass is boosted to an extent where it does in fact make the mid sound a little muddy. I can see bass enthusiasts enjoying this range for EDM or someone using this mode for a little more motivation during a workout. So how can you tell exactly which EQ mode you're in? Because you don't exactly have an app to check and see which one is selected. Well, JLab did think about that. So whenever you do a triple tap, you hear an acknowledgement beep. When you hear one beep, it's the JLab Signature preset. When you hear 2 acknowledgement beeps, it's the balance mode. And when you hear 3 acknowledgement beeps, it's the bass boost mode. And it keeps cycling between these 3. So to sum up, when it comes to the build, I'm so happy that they haven't used a glossy finish, because a lot of budget earphones tend to have a glossy finish. So within the first few days or first few weeks of using them, they tend to look months old, maybe even close to being a year old. But this one's not going to show scratches and scuffs anytime soon. It is a nicely made matte finish. It's definitely going to hold up for some time. On a feature front, this does seem limited because you don't have app support now. The way JLab has actually incorporated the features, I think they never really needed an app. I genuinely think a lot of people will appreciate this, because consider a situation where you'd maybe think about gifting this to someone from a much older generation. A lot of people don't like to interact with their phones. So the fact that you can do everything on the earbuds themselves means you don't have to look at your phone. You can use these casually if you're going on a walk, or even if you're just doing chores at home. You don't have to interact with your phone, which is a huge plus point for me. And when it comes to the features, I don't think JLab has gone with the intention of cramming all sorts of features into these earphones. Judging by the way they're built and the way they sound, they are obviously looking at giving you more quality when it comes to the build for longevity, and also the way they sound, because I do like the way they've been tuned. I myself don't really use earbuds for calls, but if you are somebody who does want to use them and you've missed the call chapter, I have provided a demo over there, so you can give it a listen and you be in the seat of the reviewer and decide whether or not you're okay with your voice being carried over to your recipient like this. On the sound front, I found myself really enjoying the JLab signature profile. Now, if I'm being very honest, for the taste that I have in music, I don't like such an accentuation in the bass, but I see a lot of people appreciating this, whether you listen to rock or EDM or anything that you want a little more bass. But what is actually quite commendable is the fact that they've been able to elevate the bass as much as they have without it affecting the mid-range. Now, a lot of other earphones that I've heard tend to want to emphasize the bass region, and they do a significant dip in the lower mids, which just makes a lot of the vocals sound very tinny. And also having an elevated bass tends to drown out the mids a lot. These earphones haven't done that. Your mids stay absolutely crystal clear right through, even when there's heavy bass playing in the audio. So I can honestly say that JLab has tuned these very well, specifically that JLab signature profile. So would I recommend these to you? Well, if you're in the market for a set of earphones and you don't want to spend too much money, but you're looking for a nice sound profile that you want to use for listening to music or even for video consumption, and perhaps you want to use something for workouts that will manage a little bit of sweat and a little bit of a drizzle in the rain if you're going for a walk, I think these are super value for money. And over and above that, the fact that they offer a 2-year warranty, you don't really see that much these days. So how much do these cost? Well, at the time of recording this, they have an MRP of 3,249, but they're being sold for 2,499. And if you do want to get your hands on these immediately, you can head on to the closest Chroma store near you to pick these up. But you can also order these online via the Chroma store. And if you would also like to order these from Amazon and Flipkart, they are also available there. And I will leave the links down below for you. So I do hope you found this video helpful and informative, and I do hope I've helped you make some sort of purchase decision. If you would like to support the channel, I'm sure you know exactly how to. But of course, thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.